Hello, welcome to Beach View, our podcast where we talk about all sorts of things and stuff.
Yes, and today we're talking about Death Note again.
Yes, Death Note. So we watched the first, was it 5 episodes?
Last time, yes.
Yes, in an earlier podcast. And so this time we watched episodes 6 through 10.
Yes. So, general thoughts about these episodes?
So I liked them. I thought they were a nice continuation of the plot, but there were some things that I found that were a little odd,
Yeah.
So we'll get into them. Yeah. What did you think?
To me, this is the best part of the series. This 5-episode stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely kept my interest, and I thought it, again, furthered the plot line. It was good, but I do have to admit, I was taking I would jot down a couple little notes as I was watching the episodes. But on episode 9, I totally blanked, didn't write anything down. So I don't know why, but I got little notes written down for all the other ones. But
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with the plot synopses of these episodes.
Sure.
Alright. Episode 6. Due to the FBI investigation and the death of the FBI officers, Light's dad, the police chief or whatever, lets people leave the case, and as such only a few remain. Elle decides to meet them in person to rebuild trust. During this time, Light has a chance meeting with Naomi Misora, who's a former FBI agent and the fiancé of the FBI agent Light ended up killing in the last set of episodes. She seemingly cracked the Kira case wide open, so Light decides to kill her. And he's walking down the street having a conversation with her, which leads into episode 7, where Light finds out that she gave him a fake name, so he tries to coax out her real name. And they're going back and forth talking about it. And while he does this, one of the detectives goes back to the station, nearly missing the two. And Elle's still talking to the police in the meanwhile. Episode 8. Elle still suspects that Kira is among the people he had the FBI investigating, and so he installs cameras to spy on all of them. Light is one of these suspects, and he discovers the cameras, so he, tries to get around them and takes a potato chip and eats it. Episode 9, Light's about to, what is it? He's getting into university?
Yeah, I think he's taking an entrance exam.
Yeah, something like that. And during this time, Elle pretends to be a student and does this to get close to Light and reveals himself as Elle because he suspects Light might be Kira. And Light decides to befriend Elle to try to, kill him. Episode 10. Elle and Light play tennis.
Yeah.
Then Light's dad has a heart attack, which causes them to rush to the hospital. During this time, Elle and Light exchange some words, and Elle is still suspicious, but, he's reduced his suspicions some. And then the episode ends with the setup for the next plotline, which is where I think the show starts to get bad, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do not like this next plotline, but that's not what we watch, so...
Okay. It's something to look forward to there.
Yeah. So, I guess to start off with, how do you feel about the first 2 episodes we watched with, Light talking to Naomi Misora and Elle revealing himself?
Yeah, so I thought episodes 6 and 7, I thought they provided a nice little twist with the fiance of the FBI agent that he had killed. So I thought that was kind of a cool little plot line that, she has this figured it out. She used to be an FBI agent herself. And so I thought that was kind of cool that, she's basically showing her hand, though, because she doesn't realize, but she did it in a smart way.
Yeah.
So I like that whole plot line. I thought that was a good one. And then with the introduction of, who Elle is.
Yeah.
How they continue that. And I like how Elle is this kind of awkward, he's kind of portrayed as this weird little, dude.
Yeah.
But, and the one thing that they always show him rubbing his feet together.
Yeah.
And like sitting weird. And I'm like, I don't like that part where he's rubbing his feet together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only because I don't like when you can hear people like rubbing their feet together. I don't know why. It just is one of those things that just gets me. But that is the only like thing that I was like, stop. But I like the plot line. What did you think of it?
Yeah, so, yeah, this is probably my favorite part of the whole series.
Yes.
Like, I think this, like, just, like, I don't know, like, she's quietly, like, cracked the entire case open. Like, she figured out, I forget the specifics, but something about, like, how, Kira needs a name to do it.
Yes.
Or no, or I
needs to see their face.
I forget what the specifics was, but like,
yeah,
she figures it out, and also figures out that, you know, the person her husband was investigating has a connection, which is Light, and he just like, I like that he like just happens to run across her before the rest of the detectives do.
Yes,
that is just like a near miss that he gets lucky with.
Yes,
I think that's a neat point.
And it could go either way, you know,
Yeah.
He could like trip up and reveal himself, or he can like skirt by. So that's what makes it, gives it a little bit of tension that I enjoyed too. And I like the fact that the fiance is talking about how like she figures out from the clues that Kira was on the bus that was hijacked, that her fiance was on, and that she figures out that, you know, Kira can kill people in other ways, not just heart attacks.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yes, and that he can also control his victims. And she also, though, figured out the part about how Kira has to see their face and know their name in order to kill them, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they already knew that
okay.
To some extent. But
got you. Okay. I couldn't remember from the first part, but she knew all these clues. And she was smart enough to give an alias to Light. So we can see here that she's knows her stuff. But then obviously, you know, she trips up. Episode 7, you know, like she was using, you know, a fake name, and he convinced her to give her real name, because you didn't think she was going to, because she kept saying, no, like I want to talk to the police myself. I want to go back to the headquarters on my own. And you think, like, there's no way he's going to be able to stop her. But he convinces her. So this kid is, like, a smart little dude. But I did think it was sad, for one, that he met the fiance of the guy he killed, and he had no remorse. And then he tries to kill her. Like, he cons his way into her giving him her ID. So that he could kill her. And I think that was just like, dude, come on. Like, this is where we see he's totally lost touch with, you know, his conscience.
If he ever had it.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, you know, it's like he wants to make this perfect world and bring justice to people, like to criminals. But then you see, like, he's willing to do whatever it takes to, like, protect himself and keep his power.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just like how this is, like, written, like, the pacing of it, and, like, the way they, like, you know, it's, like, a back-and-forth internal monologue, like, of how him trying to, like, figure it out. I also like how Ryuk is just, like, cackling the entire time.
Yes,
because, like, at first he's like, why is he laughing? You know, what's he think is so funny? And then he realizes, oh, that was a fake name.
Yeah, so it's like he's also, like, using clues from the Death God. And I thought it was also funny that they kind of put in about how he loves the apples once again.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, oh, with all the cameras, like, he can't have apples, because it would just look like an apple was disappearing, you know, in midair. So he like starts going through withdrawals, and like that was just a little touch of comedy there.
Yeah.
Like, of all things, apples are your vice.
Yeah, so what'd you think of I'll take a potato chip and eat it?
I thought that was funny. So he hides a camera.
A TV in a bag of potato chips.
A TV, yes, a tiny little TV. in a bag of potato chips. Wait, that's episode 8 though, right?
Yeah. But so was the cameras that you already brought up, I guess.
You're right.
I mean, do you have anything else to say about 6 and 7?
No. I
Okay.
liked the introduction of Elle, and I liked how he was like this kind of awkward genius type of dude,
Yeah.
like young guy. So I liked his character. That's it.
Yeah, the potato chip thing I mentioned briefly last time because I thought it happened last time, but nope,
Right.
it happens now.
Yeah, so episode 8 we get into as you said in the synopsis, so they're trying to investigate the people who the FBI agent Ray, what's his name? Ray Pinberg or something?
Yeah, well, I think it's all of them, right?
Yeah, but I think they were tracking specifically the ones that he
Oh,
was
okay.
tracking down. I don't know, it could have been all of them. But anyway, so it's 2 families of the investigators. So, which, it's Light's family they're
Yeah.
investigating. And so his father, like, reluctantly agrees. And they hide, like, a ton of cameras in their home. So Light has to be, like, extra careful, and he's being, like, very mindful. And it's all this internal dialogue about, how he has to basically, like, get by this test. So he's like, well, how am I gonna, like, I have to keep killing criminals because otherwise, they'll know something's up.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, how am I gonna do that if I can't watch the TV? Like, their eyes on them, So he's like, how am I gonna do that? So he has this tiny little TV screen, like little TV that he hides in a bag of potato chips. So it's just, that's definitely interesting. And then it's like, kind of like a battle between Light and Elle of them like trying to figure out who is who kind of thing.
Yeah, there's a very particular line read where he goes like very dramatically, "I'll take a potato chip and eat it."
Yeah. I thought that was funny. And even like the little sister was like, "Why are you eating chips? You just ate dinner." And so it's like kind of like an unusual, they point out like that he's doing something unusual. So I thought they were gonna like catch him for sure, or note that was weird. But
No.
I guess it's not that weird grabbing a bag of chips and eating them, right? So yeah. But when they first showed it in the potato chip bag, I thought it was another camera because they first showed like a little light. And I was like, oh no, they're going to see what he's writing on the page because he had his bags like laying horizontally on the desk next to his notebook. And I was like, oh no, they're going to see what he's writing. But then I realized it was a TV. So
yeah, you can tell this was made before smartphones because
yes,
it's like a totally unnecessary thing when smartphones exist.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could see like the little flip phones that they're using.
Yeah.
Which are funny. Oh, I also wanted to note like the helper guy, Elle's like little butler type of person, whatever he is. He was kind of funny, and it's like this older man who's like basically, I guess, employed by Elle. And he has all this like cool tech stuff. Like he gives the police fake IDs. So I thought that was kind of like a funny little thing. It reminded me of like, how like superheroes always have this like guy in the background that provides like equipment and stuff. Like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, Alfred from Batman.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I couldn't think of any of their names, but I was like vague memories of superheroes with their little helpers. So.
Yeah, so episodes 9 and 10. Where Elle decides to reveal himself to Light, kind of that, like, cat and mouse thing.
Yeah, so I definitely like the cat and mouse kind of thing. The episode 9, where Light is going to take his entrance exam that he's been studying for all this time. I was like, I wonder if he's gonna, like, flunk the exam, because he really hasn't been studying. He's been, like, killing people, and wouldn't that be some, like, a little bit of justice, right? But of course he doesn't. He scores like a perfect score on it. But it's like interesting that when he's taking the exam, he sees the teacher or whomever is given the test calls out Elle because he's sitting funny in his desk and rubbing his feet together. So he looks back and sees Elle, And he's like, that guy's kind of intense. Like, he's, why is he looking like that? And that kind of thing. So you think like, oh man, like Elle's getting closer for sure, But the whole time, it's like they're going back and forth, trying to figure each other out. And I like that. I think they're both trying to outsmart each other.
Yeah.
And you hear all this internal dialogue, and I thought it was like really interesting. And I thought for sure like Light was gonna like trip up some kind of way. But they're both these like young, really smart, guys. And so far they're outsmarting each other.
Yeah.
And then of course the dad has a heart attack.
Well, I was gonna talk more about the tennis match.
Oh yeah, well, let's go.
Which you were
tennis.
bringing up, but it's kind of ridiculous.
I thought the tennis thing was a little ridiculous, but it was also, I think, a good demonstration of their internal dialogue going back and forth. They're kind of like hitting the ball to each other. They both want to win, but they're like weighing like their actions, and so I thought it was a good representation of like that internal struggle going on,
Yeah, and Light's all like, but if I win, won't he think I'm Kira?
Yeah.
But if I lose on purpose, won't he also think I'm Kira? And it's like very over dramatic, and it's like the stakes are a tennis game, it's not like a
it's like this the whole world rests on this tennis game. And then you see all these people like gathering around, and come to find out both of them were like junior champs. And, so it's like these people have some skills, and they end up going like 6 games in, I think.
Yeah.
Or matches. I don't know what you call them.
Those are, okay, so the match is the whole thing. And then there's a game in a set. I think a game is like once you've gotten 40 love and past that, you get a game. And then if you get 2 games, it's a set.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant.
Well, I know it's bringing back like I remember I had to learn all the rules and stuff like in PE in high school.
I learned them from video games, so.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So it was definitely like the crowd gathers, and somebody's like, "Oh, I remember that kid. Like he was a champion in 2002 or something. I don't know, whatever it was."
Yeah.
So it was funny that they had this like little audience, but little did the spectators know like what they were actually watching,
Yeah. But I bring this up just like one because it's like ridiculous and overdramatic. And this scene is famous, like culturally amongst people who've watched this show.
Oh.
You remember that meme I showed you all those podcasts back?
Yes.
That's what this is referencing.
Yes.
Like this exact sort of scene and situation that a ton of people have like made jokes on this exact thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's great. I love the weirdly overdramatic game of tennis and them like mentally sparring over what is like it's just tennis,
Right. At first I was like, I don't know about this whole tennis thing, but like as they're getting into it, it actually became kind of funny because like you said, it was like very over dramatic and like this internal struggle as well as this like external game that they're trying to win. And so it ends up with Light winning.
Yes.
And so that's kind of like, a little symbolism there that so far he's ahead of the game. Like he's keeping his identity secret and he's still killing criminals. So
yeah. And then Light's dad has a heart attack.
Right. And so at first we're like, oh no, like did he kill his dad?
Yeah. And, the characters are thinking, like, oh, did Kira get to him?
Yes. Right. And so we're all a little like, I mean, at least me, I was like, no, is he trying to kill his dad? I'm like, no, he wouldn't kill his dad. And, but I think like when they both go to the hospital. And so Light is like, okay, this really is Elle. And Elle is sitting there trying to figure out, what's going on with Light. And meanwhile, the dad survived. Like they say like the heart attack was just from stress.
Yeah.
So he didn't die. So that's good. But it gives Light kind of an out to say, well, I told you I would help with this investigation, but I gotta wait till my dad gets healthy again. So I don't know if that's a good move or not.
But also like, yeah, Elle's still suspicious, but like kind of less suspicious. And one of the things I like about this sequence is that we're not quite sure how suspicious Elle is of Light. Like, he clearly is on the suspect list, but like, does Elle think he's definitely Kira and he just needs proof, or is Elle just being thorough and trying to rule out leads? You know, it's not like really demonstrated.
Yeah, and I like though how L is at first he's like, well, there's a 1% chance that you're Kira, and then he's like, oh, that just moved up to 3%,
Yeah.
and then like now it's 7%. It's like, okay, is he trying to like trip him out? You know, like what's is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I liked this section. I remembered that you said it gets worse, so I was like waiting for it to get worse. But I thought these episodes were good because I didn't know when you thought it got worse.
Yeah, no, I think it gets worse after this. Like, I
Yeah.
think these first 10 episodes, especially these 5 that we watched in particular, are solid, and then after this, it just slowly goes downhill, and
Yeah.
then all at once goes downhill.
I like the little clues to not clues, but I guess you'd call them clues. So Light, when he like leaves his room, he like when he got home after they put the cameras in, he immediately knew when he got to his room door that somebody had been in his room. And we see that like he kept a piece of paper like in between the door and the door frame so that he could tell if the door was open, the paper would fall to the ground. But we also know that like when they did the cameras, like they show that somebody like replaced the paper where it was. So that clue, like he said, well, the paper was obvious. You know, I left the paper obvious on purpose. But what they didn't know is that he also like turned his doorknob a little bit so that he would know if somebody had been in his room, because it would be like completely horizontal if somebody had reclosed the door and didn't pay attention to the position of the doorknob. And then he also put like a mechanical pencil lead in by the hinge so that if the door did open, it would break and he would see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, genius.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows the little trick with the, well, at least I remember like from college, like people would do this to see if like their roommates were going in their room or anything.
Uh-huh.
They put like a piece of paper or like a string or something in between the door and the door frame. But never thought of like the pencil lead.
Yeah. He's very thorough.
Yeah. So if he used his powers for good instead of evil, well, and I guess that's really like up for debate, right? Because he thinks he's doing good by ridding the world of evil, right?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Right, and Elle kind of like profiles him during these episodes, and he's like, he's childish and he hates to lose. He has a very, like, he must be young because he's got a very, like, strange sense of justice.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff.
But I also like how Elle says, the reason I know this is because I'm also immature
Yeah.
and whatever. I forget how he puts
Yeah,
it, but
hate
you're
to
like,
lose.
you're like, that's funny. Game recognizes game, you know?
Yeah. Well, at least he's aware of his character flaws. I don't think Light is.
No, Light thinks he's definitely getting like an inflated sense of self, which I mean he already had, you know, we saw that in the first 5 episodes too, but he's like getting drunk on this power. And like, so we know when that happens, like people usually get overconfident, they get cocky and they make some kind of mistake.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see if that's actually what happens here.
But yeah, so yeah, there's also like they'll cut to scenes that have like this dramatic representation where Light has like red hair and red highlights around him,
Yes.
and Elle has like blue hair and blue highlights around him, and I like the like visual representation of them being like enemies and how like dramatic that is. I think that's fun.
Same. Yeah, I like that symbolism there. I think that just like adds a layer to the whole thing. Like it just gives it a little more interest to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoy, like, you know, this kind of goes with like that whole detective genre. Like I really like seeing like the clues laid out and like on both sides of it. You know, including like the fiance that Light talks to on Light's side, and on Elle's side, all the investigators, like
Yeah.
everyone kind of laying out these clues and like, using their powers of deduction to come to these conclusions or to, find suspects or in Light's case to like outsmart the investigators, I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you remember what happens at the end of episode 10?
The end of episode 10. So, I think at the end of episode 10, that's when Elle gets in the car and Light tells him that, I said I could help with the investigation, but I gotta wait till my dad is healthy.
Yeah.
Is that the end of it?
Well, according to this plot transcription again, I might be confusing this with episodes that come later, but, it's that, a TV station receives a, like, audio tape
Oh,
that from
yes.
someone claiming to be Kira.
I totally forgot about that. Yes.
So where do you think that's going?
I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if this is fake. I don't know if it's a real, like if Light sent in to try to throw off the trail. I don't know what's on the tapes. So I am like interested to see what comes from that.
Okay. No guesses, though?
No, I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, I mean, I already know.
Oh, I want to know now. I don't know. That's why I was like,
And I think it's not good, so...
Oh, it's not good. Huh, I wonder what it is. Yeah, I don't know. And then, do they ever say if the fiance commits suicide? Because
yeah,
that's
they
what
do.
he...
She gets found out, like, weeks later or something.
Okay.
I think that happens in this series of episodes.
I couldn't remember if they did or not, but, yeah, I wonder if any of it's from the fiance, like any of the stuff sent to the magazine. I don't know. I gotta go look this stuff up.
Well, you can watch further.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah, so, what'd you think of your first 10 episodes of anime?
So I like them. It's a little like obviously over dramatic.
Yes.
It's a whole different kind of genre, So I think it's something like you got to get a little used to. But I thought it was definitely an interesting storyline. So I mean, I would keep watching.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I already said, and this is something I've watched before, so.
Yeah. How do you like revisiting it though? Like, is it like what you remembered? Or...
Oh, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I haven't rewatched any of these because
You
I know them so well.
Man. Oh, so I've been having these assignments and you haven't done it.
No, I mean, if we do end up doing the next 5 episodes, I'll have to go back and watch all of them because it's been a while since I've watched anything after episode 10.
Oh, well, that's fair. That's funny.
I mean, I remember these so well, I was just like, I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, you get a free pass.
Yeah, but I did look up the, some plot synopses and, like, borrowed those to...
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't have remembered what happens in what episode.
Yeah, well, that's why I usually watch it, like, the night before.
Yeah.
Or, like, I watched the last couple this morning, so it would be fresh. Because if I watch it earlier in the week, and then, like, I'm, going to work and doing all kinds of stuff, like, throughout the week, like, I will totally forget what I watched. So, I'm like, let me keep it fresh.
Yep. So, still good music. The soundtrack's good as ever,
Yes.
But that hasn't changed.
Yeah, I had forgotten about the intro music.
Oh, yeah.
Until I started rewatching it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I like the music in this. And I kind of like how throughout the episodes they still like intersperse like the instructions from the Death Note.
Oh, yeah.
Like the book, the notebook, it has like, here's how to use it. So every episode has like, I think 2 like notes of instruction.
Yeah, that would be the break for commercial and, if you weren't watching this on streaming.
Yeah. But I liked it because, you kind of forget, well, at least I do, kind of forget like with how it actually works. But, and of course the little like death god like still following him around and like taunting him with I could give you like my eyes or whatever they call it, where he could see like the lifespan and like who the people are or whatever. So he's still like kind of offering that up, but he's like this like crazy little sidekick guy,
He's there for the drama.
Yeah, it's like they kind of develop this like relationship where he's like taunting but also like being helpful, like, so that's kind of funny. But I definitely like getting to know like Elle a little bit more. I thought that was like a good thing. And kind of like some character development. Like we see Light's dad, I always forget his name, but like basically the head of the investigation. Like we see him kind of like defending his family, and then he's like, I don't spend much time with them. Like as soon as I get home, I'm like, just have time to sleep because I've been working on this for so long. And you can kind of see like the regret that he knows he's been like absent, but this is like very important case, So I think there's a little bit of character development there. And I also like Light's little sister, because she's like so enthusiastic, and like he'll get home and she's like, hey, like, be like all encouraging about his like entrance exam and stuff, and he just like ignores her. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. So that kind of stuff. I like the little character developments here and there.
Yep.
Yep. So that's yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about all I have.
Well, all right. Yeah, I guess that's everything we have on Death Note, episodes 6 through 10.
That's right. So how many episodes are there?
37, I believe.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a lot. Okay, we still got a long way to go.
Yeah. If we go the whole way,
Yeah, if we do.
Yeah, I do not like the next little bit, and I think it just continues to get worse from there.
Well, maybe we'll stop it on a high note. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it has been a while, so maybe we'll see.
Okay. Well, so far, so good. I found it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been more Death Note. I'll take us out if there's nothing else to add.
That's it.
Alright, well, that's been Beach View, our podcast about different things and/or stuff. Hope you enjoyed listening and tune in next time. Bye!
Bye!